And those statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that.
An unexpected twist in the courtroom drama involving music icons Jay-Z and Diddy has left everyone talking. The judge's furious ruling to keep their accuser anonymous has sparked a storm of speculation. Why did the court side with the anonymous plaintiff instead of the well-known celebrities? Join us as we uncover the thrilling details behind this controversial decision. The judge ruled in favor of Jay-Z and Diddy's accuser. In the ongoing lawsuit against Jay-Z, which involves allegations of the molestation of a 13-year-old girl at a party, a federal judge has determined that the plaintiff may maintain her anonymity. Morgan Norwood reports that since the initiation of this case, Jay-Z's legal representatives have sought to have it dismissed, contending that the accuser should disclose her identity. However, the judge's recent ruling allows her to proceed without revealing her name, at least for the time being. Furthermore, the judge expressed disapproval of Jay-Z's attorneys, criticizing their aggressive legal tactics and personal attacks, and urged them to moderate their approach. This ruling represents a significant legal victory for the woman pursuing the lawsuit against Jay-Z, as she can continue her case while remaining unidentified despite the defense's attempts to expedite the process by filing motions aimed at disclosing her identity. The judge, in a 4-page brief, criticized Jay-Z's attorney for the incessant submission of aggressive motions that include provoking language and personal attacks, deeming such behavior uncultured and a misuse of judicial resources. The judge noted that this approach is unlikely to serve the interests of the client. Furthermore, the court will not expedite the judicial process simply at the request of the counsel. This development follows the recent civil lawsuit filed by Jane Doe, who alleges that Jay-Z, born Sean Carter, and P. Diddy intoxicated and molested a 13-year-old girl at an after-party following the MTV Music Awards in 2000 with an unnamed celebrity as a witness. Jay-Z has categorically denied all allegations, asserting in a statement released a few weeks ago that it constitutes an attempt at blackmail. The multi-platinum artist, who was 30 years old at the time of the alleged incident and is now a successful business mogul with a career spanning decades, has had numerous hits including Run This Town and We Are the Nation. His legal representatives have refuted Jane Doe's claims, highlighting purported inconsistencies in her narrative. According to them, they see this narrative as not merely a fabrication, it is demonstrably and verifiably false. The events in question did not occur. The presiding judge has indicated that while Jane Doe may maintain her anonymity for the time being, she could be compelled to disclose her identity in the future to facilitate Jay's legal team in gathering pertinent information for trial preparation. It is often the case that individuals who allege such crimes prefer to remain unnamed, and when compelled to reveal their identities, some may choose to withdraw their lawsuits entirely. As interesting as this case already seems to you, it is important to know how everything escalated and got to this viral point. Would you like to know? Keep watching, because we're about to reveal some juicy secret about Diddy and Jay-Z. The background story. Sean Combs, widely recognized by his stage name P. Diddy, has been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center for the past 3 months as he faces serious federal charges. These charges include racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking through force, fraud or coercion, and transportation for the purpose of engaging in prostitution. Diddy's legal issues, however, did not start with his arrest in September 2024. Instead, they can be linked to the initial civil lawsuit that was launched against him, claiming harassment and molestation. This first lawsuit signaled the start of a decline in Diddy's public image and reputation. Following the initial lawsuit, a series of further civil lawsuits has surfaced, complicating the story around Diddy's legal struggles and making it progressively harder for the public and media to monitor the updates. Every fresh accusation contributes to the expanding roster of claims against him, further damaging his previously revered standing in the entertainment sector. To complicate things further, Jay-Z, another prominent individual, has lately become involved in these legal matters. Jay-Z is currently being accused of exploiting a 13-year-old girl at one of Diddy's events. This specific lawsuit was first noted when it was submitted in October 2024, and the plaintiff, referred to as Jane Doe, has chosen to stay anonymous. If you're curious about what Jane Doe means, here's a brief explanation. In legal matters, if the identity of a person is not known when the plaintiff files a lawsuit, the plaintiff can label the defendant as Jane Doe. Moreover, people aiming to safeguard their identity in situations concerning delicate accusations, such as harassment or molestation, might also utilize a pseudonym like Jane Doe. With this knowledge, you recognize why the plaintiff chose to remain anonymous, as this choice to uphold her anonymity is allowed by the law. enabling her to pursue justice without disclosing her identity to the public. The repercussions of these accusations are significant not just for Diddy and Jay-Z, but also for the wider entertainment sector, which is dealing with concerns regarding accountability and the treatment of women. As additional information comes to light and the legal processes progress, the public will observe attentively to understand how these cases evolve and what effects they might have on the professional paths and legacies of the individuals entangled. According to one of the statements, Jane Doe asserts that she encountered Diddy's limousine driver outside the MTV Video Music Awards on September 20. The driver allegedly informed her that Combs preferred younger women and suggested that she would meet his criteria. Although she was not permitted entry to the awards ceremony, she was invited to an after party later that evening. The driver subsequently transported her to a large white residence situated behind a gated fence, where she recognized several celebrities including P. Diddy. Upon entering, two men requested that Jane Doe sign a non-disclosure agreement, which prohibited her from discussing the events of the party. She provided her name and signed the document but did not receive a copy for her records. At the party, Jane Doe accepted a drink, which she described as a reddish-yellow concoction that tasted reminiscent of orange juice, cranberry juice, and an unidentified bitter element. She now suspects that Diddy or one of his associates may have tampered with her drink. After consuming some of the beverage, Jane Doe reported feeling dizzy and sought a place to lie down. She entered what she believed to be an unoccupied room, leaving the door unlocked. Jane Doe alleges that Sean Combs entered a room with a male and female celebrity, approached her aggressively with a wild expression, seized her while making some derogatory statements. This legal filing made by Jane Doe brought to light the presence of two notable individuals in the room during the alleged incident, referred to as Celebrity A and Celebrity B. The public perception surrounding these individuals was that Celebrity A was male, while Celebrity B was female. This led to rampant speculation regarding the identity of Celebrity B, with many suggesting that she could be Jennifer Lopez, who was known to be in a relationship with Diddy at that time. However, it is important to note that this speculation remains unverified and has not been substantiated by any credible evidence. What has been confirmed, at least according to the statements made by Jane Doe, is that Celebrity A is indeed Jay-Z. In a significant development, Jane Doe amended her lawsuit to explicitly name Jay-Z, making serious allegations against him, including accusations of molestation that occurred during the incident in question when she was only 13 years old. Jay-Z has responded to these allegations with a firm denial, categorically rejecting the claims made against him. In a strategic legal move, Jay-Z's legal team filed a motion requesting that Jane Doe reveal her identity. This tactic is not without precedent. A similar approach was taken in a case involving another individual who also went by Jane Doe. This particular case involved a civil suit against Diddy filed in late 2023. In that instance, the plaintiff included photographs in her lawsuit, which ultimately led to a court order requiring her to disclose her identity. The revelation that followed identified her as Anna Kane, who is primarily known as the former spouse of professional hockey player Evander Kane. In light of this precedent, Jay-Z's legal team is pursuing a similar course of action, urging the court to compel Jane Doe to publicly disclose her name. This request raises important questions about the balance between the rights of the accused to defend themselves and the privacy rights of individuals who come forward with allegations of serious misconduct. The outcome of this motion could have significant implications for both parties involved and may set a precedent for how similar cases are handled in the future. With this, Jay-Z's attorney intends to showcase the credibility of this case, which there are some speculations going on about it already. Let's check them out. Speculations about Jane Doe's credibility. The statements made by the plaintiff, along with the incriminating admissions from her father during a revealing NBC interview, further undermine a claim that was evidently false from the outset. The timeline, location, and nature of the events described in the plaintiff's complaint are rendered implausible by these admissions. She asserts that her father collected her following the alleged harassment, which she claims involved a 5-hour journey. Additionally, she states that she communicated with musician Benji Madden that evening despite the fact that he was not in New York at the time. The plaintiff alleges that the molestation occurred at an after-party held in a private residence, yet photographs indicate that Jay-Z was present at an after-party in a nightclub. When confronted by NBC, the plaintiff was compelled to acknowledge that she might have made some mistakes, especially in identifying the face, and later admitted to guessing about critical details, including the duration of travel to the venue. Furthermore, she concedes that she lacks any corroborating witness over the past 24 years. In this motion, Jay-Z's legal team requests an immediate preservation order, expressing concern that Tony Busby, the attorney for the plaintiff, might destroy crucial evidence related to the case. The filing indicates a significant risk of such an occurrence, prompting Jay-Z to seek this preservation order. Alternatively, he requests the complete dismissal of the lawsuit. However, the judge did not grant this request. To take things further, let's examine the criteria for maintaining the anonymity of a plaintiff in a lawsuit, specifically focusing on the unique circumstances surrounding Jane Doe's case. The analysis highlights several critical factors that are particularly relevant to her situation, which must be carefully weighed in determining whether her request for anonymity should be granted. First and foremost, the motion considers whether the litigation pertains to issues that are particularly sensitive and personal in nature. This includes an examination of the subject matter of the lawsuit and how it relates to Jane Doe's private life. Cases that involve harassment, molestation, or other sensitive issues typically require a greater level of confidentiality to shield the plaintiff from additional trauma and public examination. Secondly, the assessment examines the possible dangers of retaliatory physical or emotional harm that might occur to Jane Doe if her identity is revealed. This encompasses not just the immediate dangers to her safety, but also the possibility of psychological harm that might result from being publicly named in a case that could already be inflicting considerable emotional distress on her. Additionally, the motion examines the consequences of revealing Jane Doe's identity for unsuspecting third parties like family or friends who might be unintentionally impacted and could experience social stigma or harassment as a result. Furthermore, the motion considers Jane Doe's susceptibility to the negative impacts of disclosure, especially in light of her age. Younger plaintiffs might be more vulnerable to adverse effects from being publicly named, such as bullying, exclusion, or other types of social retaliation. The examination also considers if Jane Doe's identity has remained confidential until now, which could further bolster the case for preserving her anonymity to avoid any disturbance to her life and health. The motion articulates both the advantages and disadvantages of preserving Jane Doe's anonymity. On one hand, maintaining her anonymity serves to protect her from potential harm and allows her to pursue her legal claims without the added burden of public exposure. On the other hand, the judge emphasizes that the plaintiff's continued anonymity could potentially prejudice the defendants. This concern arises from the possibility that the defendants may face challenges in gathering necessary information for an effective defense and in appropriately challenging the plaintiff's credibility if they are unable to fully understand the context of the allegations against them. Despite these concerns, the judge ultimately concludes that at this preliminary stage of the proceedings, the factors favoring anonymity outweigh those advocating for disclosure. The court recognizes the importance of safeguarding Jane Doe's well-being and acknowledges the sensitive nature of the issues at hand. Consequently, the judge has granted Jane Doe's request to remain anonymous for the time being, while indicating that the court plans to reassess this decision in the future. You might be wondering why Jay-Z got into a legal suit immediately after Diddy got arrested. Well, a glimpse into what their relationship looked like might explain the details for you, especially the necessary things you need to know about this case, so stay tuned. The unbelievable revelation about Jay-Z and Diddy. Rapper and entrepreneur Jay-Z stands out as a significant figure in the music industry, particularly for his long-standing friendship with fellow mogul Diddy. Both artists emerged as prominent forces in the hip-hop landscape during the late 1990s, a time when the genre was rapidly evolving and gaining mainstream acceptance. Remarkably, both Jay-Z and Diddy managed to navigate the chaotic landscape of the late 1990s without falling victim to the legal troubles that ensnared many of their contemporaries. In 1999, while the hip-hop community was rife with incidents that led to incarceration for several artists, Jay-Z and Diddy emerged unscathed, allowing them to continue their ascent in the industry. This remarkable moment set the stage for their future endeavors, as they both recognized the importance of leveraging their influence beyond music. In the years that followed, Jay-Z and Diddy each wove entrepreneurship and philanthropy into the fabric of their personal brands. They have been at the forefront of a movement that merges luxury markets with hip-hop culture, transforming the way the world perceives both industries. Jay-Z, for instance, has ventured into various business endeavors, including his ownership of the Roc Nation Entertainment Company, investments in sports teams, and partnerships with luxury brands. His ability to blend music with business acumen has not only expanded his wealth, but has also paved the way for other artists to follow suit. Similarly, Diddy has made significant strides in the business realm with his ventures in fashion, beverages, and media. His brand, Sean John, revolutionized streetwear and brought hip-hop aesthetics to the forefront of the fashion industry. Diddy's entrepreneurial spirit has also been evident in his successful Ciroc vodka partnership, which has become a staple in the luxury spirits market. Both artists have also embraced philanthropy, using their platforms to give back to their communities and support various causes. Jay-Z has been involved in numerous charitable initiatives focusing on social justice, education, and economic empowerment. His efforts have included the establishment of the Sean Carter Foundation, which provides scholarships and support to underserved youth. Diddy too has made significant contributions through his own charitable endeavors, including the creation of the Sean Combs Foundation, which aims to uplift and empower young people. Throughout their careers, Jay-Z and Diddy have often shared the spotlight, with a wealth of photographs capturing their interactions over the last 30 years. It wasn't until Diddy's arrest that some of their deeds came to light. In one of Diddy's part footage, it was speculated that Jay-Z finds himself deeply entrenched in the vibrant yet controversial party culture that has long been a defining feature of celebrity life. This scene, characterized by its opulence and notoriety, has historically been associated with high-profile figures such as Diddy, whose extravagant events have reached a level of legendary status within the entertainment industry. These gatherings, often marked by lavish displays of wealth and indulgence, have become synonymous with the lifestyles of the rich and famous, drawing attention not only for their glamour but also for the darker undertones that sometimes accompany them. Diddy's parties in particular have garnered a reputation for their excess and have been linked to a variety of contentious activities. Recent legal scrutiny surrounding these events has brought to light serious allegations, suggesting that they may have served as venues for the trafficking and exploitation of minors. The infamous images from Diddy's past parties, including those featuring his iconic white bed, a symbol of the extravagant lifestyle that often permeates such occasions, serve as a stark reminder of the ethical and legal complexities that can arise in these high-profile social settings. The implications of these allegations are profound, raising significant questions about the nature of celebrity gatherings and the responsibilities of those who participate in them. The presence of minors and commercial workers at these events not only poses legal challenges, but also highlights a troubling moral landscape that demands scrutiny. As the public grapples with these revelations, the focus inevitably shifts to Jay-Z and his involvement in this environment. Speculation has begun to swirl, suggesting that his long-standing affiliations with Diddy could be more problematic than previously assumed. As a prominent figure in the music industry, Jay-Z's connections to Diddy and the broader party culture may invite questions about his awareness of or complicity in the troubling dynamics at play. This scrutiny is compounded by the fact that both artists have navigated the complexities of fame and fortune, often blurring the lines between celebration and excess. As Jay-Z continues to navigate this intricate landscape, the implications of his associations with figures like Diddy will likely remain a focal point of public discourse, just like his recent lawsuit with Jane Doe. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.